Yes, yes you may. Please log in to Canvas, and you're going to click on week 8. Hi.
Do you still have it?
Another
Do you still
phone.
have it in there?
Okay. Sure, you're not on it. Eric,
Yeah.
you got the Chromebook?
Yeah, I'm about to get on it now.
Okay.
You already know.
I know you're very concerned with your posture. So please log into Canvas, and this activity is under week 8, because guess what? It's week 8. Hi. Can you log into Canvas, please? So this activity is called Abstract Art Activities, plural. There's 2 parts. First, we're going to answer 5 questions on a separate piece of paper. And then you have a slideshow that's only 5 slides, right? That's a relief, yeah? And one of those slides is your title slide. So technically, it's really like 4 slides, right? So first things first, you need to get something to write with and a piece of paper. So if you have your own paper, you can use that. If you want to get some scratch paper over here, you may do that as well. But everyone needs something to write with and a piece of paper, please. So you may get one over there. Scratch paper is. See where Israel's getting it? Alright, go ahead and get yourself some. So the questions are on Canvas, just in case the font is too small on the projection. You can look at it on Canvas. I'm going to give you, let's say 25 minutes. That's 5 minutes per question to answer these questions. And then we're going to share them to each other before we start our slideshow. Just FYI, these questions are really about, like, I want to know what you think. I want your ideas. Number 5 is really about your opinion. I'm going to put up these images. Right? Because we're really talking about, one question is about the difference between abstract art and representational art. So you can look up here to get an idea. Are you logged in? No? Yes. Yes, you are. So scroll down. So the questions are, nope, up a little bit. Right there. Nope, right here, part 1. So, question number 1. In your own words, what is the difference between abstract art and representational art? You don't have to write the question, just write number 1, but I would like you to try your best to answer in complete sentences. So just by looking at these 2 images, what are the differences? Yes, Eric.
One is detail.
How do you define detail?
I can actually see the apple.
Right. So by details, do you mean that it looks real?
Yeah.
Right, because technically, if detail is defined as teeny tiny lines, does the abstract piece have detail? Are there teeny tiny lines in the abstract piece? Yes. So by that definition, they would both be detailed, but in a different way, right? Yes, Brandon?
Tries to be realistic.
Right. Which one tries to be realistic? The one on the left or the one on the right?
The one on the right.
Right, the one on the right. This is called, yes, exactly. So this one's representation. This is called a still life, where the artist literally set these items up, and then they drew or painted them. With this piece, right, we can assume, right, are we all in agreement? Is this one representational or abstract?
Abstract.
It's abstract, right? Because it doesn't really represent anything specific. It's not like a recognizable image. It could represent something more abstract, like what could it represent? The mind, right? Or what else? What's here, Delore? Figuratively. It beats? Yes, your heart. It could represent what's in your heart, your mind. Whereas this, just simply, in my opinion, represents the items, right? It represents oranges, a vase, etc. Question number 2. Brandon's looking up. Do you have the question? Thank you. Yes. Why do you think people started making abstract art? I can give you all a hint if you want it. Yes, creativity has a lot to do with it. And there was something that happened in human society that really pushed abstract art. Street art was after this, right? But it's good. I feel like street art came from this idea of the freedom of expression. So I have a question.
Wait, do they use abstract art in the past? Like, does it be like, when they put up a card,
Come on in.
it be like an image?
Oh, you're talking about the Rorschach test. Technically, that would be considered abstract art. You know how they do it? They literally just fold a piece of paper in half. It's also called an ink blot test. And then they just sort of drop some ink blots in it. And then when they open it, they ask the person to tell them what they think they see. And that can be used for therapy purposes because it's so abstract that each individual viewer's reaction will be different depending on what they've gone through. Some people might look at this and feel uncomfortable. Some people might look at it and feel comfortable depending on what kind of person they are. Thank you. Daniel, questions are on Canvas and we're answering them on a separate sheet of paper. We're only on question number 2, so you didn't miss much. And you know what? Let me make sure that I mark you tardy so that I don't forget. Okay. So, question for you. Okay. So, in the beginning, not the very beginning, I'm not talking about like prehistoric art, but I'm talking about like ancient Greek, Roman culture. What do you guys think art was used for?
Messages.
Messages? Right, stories, right?
Document history.
Right, documenting history, but then also stories, right? Because like, and religious art is very similar, right? If you go into, well, Christian churches have them too, but Catholic churches are really massive and beautiful, and they have all this stained glass, and it's usually stories from what book?
The Bible.
Right, from the Bible, the Bible. So you had art being used for historical purposes, for documentation purposes, and then what invention would make art obsolete in that way?
The camera.
Right, the camera. So now you have the invention of the camera, so now artists are sort of free in a way, right? They no longer need to record things. So of course they're sort of pressured, or they're free and also encouraged to express what's within them instead of everything that they see around them. Question number 3. What do you think the purpose of abstract art is? So I really want to know what you think. If you're making abstract art, what do you think the purpose of it is? What did you write? That's very good, Israel. Right, to express how they feel inside. Causing such a scene. Get it. The art piece on the left was painted by Jackson Pollock, who, when interviewed, really talked about how, like, it was just him releasing what was in him, right? And the work on the right, it doesn't really reflect what's within anyone. It's more like, I mean, when I went to art school, we did life drawing like this, like still lifes. And for me, whenever I do something like that, I feel like it's just a representation of like, look how well I can draw this, right? Which is also impressive, but in a different way. Whereas abstract art is more about, you know, what's in here, what's in here. Question number, we're almost done.
So anybody can make abstract.
Well, technically, right. Technically, abstract art is a little bit freer because it doesn't necessarily follow the same rules as like conventional realistic art, right? With realism, you have like the light source, the shadow, the textures, like different techniques, but abstract art is very freeing, right? Like you can look at that piece on the left and think, oh, I could do that, and most people would feel that. So in a way, that is freeing. What's happening over here? Are you talking about my super old erasers? Is that where, are you clowning my
No,
pencils?
I'm not calling it.
So I intentionally have these, so students don't take them.
I'm dead.
Because otherwise I'd be going
That's
through,
fine.
hey, are you writing stuff down?
I have it right here. I'm about to use it.
Search it up, we're talking about it right now.
Oh.
Okay, do me a favor, can you take your headphones out? Thank you. Are you writing stuff down?
Mhm,
What,
right
what, what? Okay, so question number 4.
now. What can artists do?
Mhm. Right, what can an artist do with abstract art that they can't do with representational? So we did sort of touch upon that already, right? It's this idea, think about like what you could do, what you could express. And then I think number 5 is pure opinion. I think I asked you, what would you prefer? Would you prefer to make representational art or abstract art? Explain why. How's it going? Mm-hmm. Your answers, yes. Get a piece of paper and answer the following questions in your own words. Yeah, on the piece of paper. 8. Good. Okay. Israel's done. Chanel's almost close to being. See, this is not helping, right? It's not helping you. Make sure you number them, please, so that I know what questions you're answering. Huh? What are you talking about? You're talking about sports balls? Oh. Can you take your headphones
I can hear you.
out of you? Honey, I didn't ask if you could hear me. Take them away from your face. You've lost the privilege of looping them around your ear because they somehow managed to go right back in there. I like that you made your own stickers. That's cool.
I couldn't find my other stickers, my screen stickers on.
Yes, you just made them. All right, is anyone stuck? Some of you seem to be a little behind, but I don't know if it's stuck. Yes. Mhm. So, what's within your mind?
Yeah.
Do you think you could represent that with ordinary objects that you see every day?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. So what if what's in your brain is something like super complicated and you even have a hard time describing it?
Yes,
Right.
very good.
Some people would suggest that the work on the left is an accurate representation
Because
of,
it's whatever you make it.
right, and it's also, sometimes we just feel like the human existence is not neat and predictable, right?
Yeah.
So in a way, abstract art, especially this type of art, is very, it's very freeing, and it can very easily represent just like the chaos that's within everybody. Are you guys working well together? I'm glad the morale is up. That's good. Found what?
I finally found results typing and I couldn't search it.
Eric, I'm asking you, in your own words, what the difference between those paintings are. You don't have to look anything up. We're not Googling anything. No, number 1. Yes. Yes, Eric. Good morning, Eric. It's so good to see you today. I think I should spell check. Right? In your own words, what is the difference between abstract art and representational art? And we talked about it, right? What are the differences? It's in your own words, not Google's words.
One is a splatter paint and one is like a smooth out.
Well, it's not just about smoothed out, right? Is one a picture of something?
That one's pretty good now. That's
Right, so which is that? Is that abstract or representational? There you go. You got it. Yeah, because in all honesty, everybody, I got kind of annoyed with your copy-paste Google answers. It was not impressing to me because it occurred to me that maybe you weren't even reading it. So when we would have conversations, you'd have no idea what I was talking about. So we're not really Googling anymore, not for definitions. I want you to tell me in your own words what things mean. Yes, sir.
Well, to flex on other students,
Yes.
he used the drip technique, right? And then he would put the canvases on the floor. And
Oh, you're like, yes, you're way ahead of everybody. Right, so Jackson Pollock did what's called action painting or drip painting, and he would lay the canvas on the ground, thank you, Daniel, and then he would he would almost dance with the paint, which we're gonna do soon. This is all leading up to that.
Isn't that what basically, what's his name?
Hold on.
I just said his name.
No, not
It's a
him.
different.
What's his name? WB or DW or Brainwash, Mr. Brainwash.
Mr. Brainwash. His stuff is similar, except I really think it was out of laziness, because he did just sit in a wheelchair and just use the spray paint on all the posters to make them unique. But it is similar because you put it on the ground. Israel, you done? Okay. All right. All right. You guys are almost done. Good and almost done. Okay. This slideshow is due at the end of class today, so I strongly suggest that you keep working on your questions. If you're done,
Wait, we just gotta work on the questions, not make the slide?
well, I was actually in the middle of saying that when you're done with the questions, you're gonna move on to the slide activity, which is on the same page. So all you have to do is scroll down to part 2. So I would like those of you who are done with your questions to start on the slideshow, because ideally everyone will be finished. Okay, I don't understand. I don't understand. Do I allow cell phone use in my class?
No, ma'am.
No, I'm confused. Why is it still, why are you harvesting elixir from a neighboring clan? Okay, I get it. So, but like no phones doesn't mean like phones when you're waiting for me to say something, right? So please, come on, and there's a part 2. It's a part 2, it's just, you just scroll down, part 2. Okay, so please continue to work on your questions. Those of you who are done, start on your slides, and then when the second group of question answers are done, we're gonna share them. Yes, sir. What?
Cause like we're learning about like genetics and stuff. He said like when we were paying attention, he's like these movies and like especially getting categories of people for memory.
This is fascinating, honey. Can you put your name on that, please? Thank you for that story about my coworker. Oh, good, you're almost done. Wait, you are done.
Yeah.
Oh, word, so people can see my art. No, but so which one?
Oh.
It says the question is, would you rather make representational art or abstract art? So which one? You could just add to it, but you just say yes. So would you prefer abstract or representational art?
I can do abstract.
Yeah? Because, so people could see your art? Why do you think they would see it more if it was abstract instead of representational?
You would probably get the background. Doesn't go how the paint.
Like that you think that you're big, like would you do like a big abstract art piece?
Yeah.
And then, what do you mean by backdrop or background? Because I have an idea, but I don't want to put words in your mouth. Unless you want me
Yeah, actually,
to. Yeah? Could you picture yourself doing like a mural? Like an abstract mural? You're dead? Hold on, let me check your pulse. I think you're good. So, I'm thinking about selfies, Dejan. Like, honestly, it's weird. Like, that's why street art is so popular, right? It's because if it's postable, then it gets seen.
Yeah.
So if you did like a big mural and people are like taking selfies in front of it, your art's gonna be seen. A lot of my friends who do street art, their art shows up in like celebrities' selfies. Okay, 2. Number 2. Brandon, good. Michael's starting on his slides. So is Daniel. So is Alkeelan and Chanel. Thank you. I'm gonna collect them in a few minutes. Okay, very good, Delori. Don't forget to put your name on it, please. What? Yeah, just put your name on it. Because I'm just gonna put it in my grading pile. I feel like I should just hang out over here until these are done. Yeah? Would that help you? Is that helping? What's the question?
Why do you think you started making abstract art?
Do you remember what I said?
Because he said everything that was inside his head. Right? Like.
We talked about the invention of something. Do you remember what, did Daniel say it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Do you remember what Daniel said?
No.
Eric, what was going on then?
I mean, technically I can just check this recording and find out what was happening. Maybe I'll review it later to figure out, and maybe my observer who's sitting right here can also tell me. You guys are sitting in the spot where I'd assume you would stay on top of it, but no. Okay, so if art was originally used to record things and to depict stories, what invention would free artists from that role? Would encourage them to do different things? How do we record things now?
With phones.
So what was invented before the phone? Before the camera phone?
Cameras.
Yeah, right? So with the camera, now artists aren't just getting paid to paint portraits of wealthy people and to paint stories out of the Bible, right? Like, yeah, they're still doing illustrations, but they're kind of freer, and now people are wondering what's inside the artist, not just what they can do.
Oh, it's a voice of the
Hi. Hello. Okay. This is fun. Fun. Okay. So the slideshow is about finding 4 different images. The first slide is your title slide. Second slide is find an image of abstract art that you like. You post that image and tell me, write 2 sentences about why you like it. Yet again, not Googleable, right? I want to know what your opinion is. The third slide, find an image of an abstract art piece that you do not like. Post it and then tell me why you don't like it. Because there's different types of abstract art. There's some that's like really detailed, there's lots of colors. Hey, Eric. So, okay, no, because this is helping you, right? If you're listening to me, it's going to help you when you get to this point and you won't be confused. Then there's some art that's too simple. Like there's literally abstract art where it's like a black canvas with black paint on it, right? So like, if I had to pick an art piece that I didn't quite understand, that would be the one, and I'd say, I don't really, I don't get it. It seems too simple to me. Slide number 4, find an image of a piece of clothing that has abstract art on it, post the image, write 2 sentences about what you think about the design. Would you wear something with the design you found on it? Why or why not? And then slide 5. Find an album cover of an artist you listen to with abstract art on it. So I do want it to be an artist that you have listened to, because then I want you to tell me if the art reflects the music that it represents.
What was that
Explain.
pick an artist, like with clothes on that represents the artist?
Good question. So slide number 4, you are finding clothing with abstract art on it. And you're posting that image, telling me if you would wear it or not. Slide number 5, you're finding an album cover, like album art of an artist that you have listened to with abstract art on it. Now, just a heads up, you might find an album with the artist's face, with abstract art around it, and I would count that, right? I would count that. I would much rather you pick an album that you know with abstract art as a component than finding one that's completely abstract that you've never listened to, because I want you to tell me if the album art accurately represents the music that is on it. Do any of you listen to Joy Division? It's okay, I know, it's old school. I'm an old woman. But this is technically abstract, right? And then this is probably, for these images, you can Google them to find these images. So you're going to post them, and hopefully all of your questions are almost done. Hi, Octavia. How have you been?
Good.
Yeah?
That's right.
Mm-hmm. So you were good while having food poisoning?
Well, I'm good now.
I said, how have you been?
Oh,
Good seems like a weird thing to say if you've had food poisoning. But I'm glad you're good now. All right, Eric, are you still on question number 2?
I'm on
Yes,
question
can you please
number 4.
come here?
Oh my God, let me clutch my pearls. I'm so impressed. Yes, I'm coming. Over here. Yes.
Is this abstract art? Art.
With everything?
Well, I mean, it is a logo of a TV channel, but they do use abstract, like an abstract component to it. But what are you Googling?
Abstract art. That's the first thing
This-
that came to my mind.
Do you have a child blog on here? It's all like Nickelodeon stuff. I'm like, what is this? Oh, okay. It says Nickelodeon up here, so I think maybe you typed in abstract art and then like you clicked on, I don't know, but it's literally just Nickelodeon. There we go. Yeah? Who?
I think he does. I think he owns like a small percentage.
No, I think he did. Not the whole time, but like, yeah, he grew up and was like, oh, I'm not like a cute child anymore. Like, let me do something, right? I mean, a lot of child actors do that, where they're like, I don't want to always be compared to the child roles that I did, but I still want to be involved. A lot of them become directors and producers. How's it going, Brandon? Cool. Very good. Thank you.
So what can you do abstract art that representation of art can do also?
Yeah.
You have to use validation sometimes for abstract art.
Yes. Yeah, that's good. Thank you, Eric. Could you do me a favor and stretch this one out a little more? It looks kind of sad. Yeah. Yeah, thank you. We're good, thank you.